It was a test, cruel, calculated, and cold. In the stillness of a marble-floored mansion, beneath the shimmer of a chandelier and the soft ticking of an antique clock, a safe stood wide open in the master's study. Inside, bundles of cash gleamed like green bricks of temptation, glinting beside ropes of gold and diamonds. He knew she would pass through here. He knew her schedule down to the minute. Alexander Ashworth, a millionaire twice over, waited in the shadows beyond the hallway arch. His gaze was sharp, not with anger, but with quiet anticipation. Yet as he watched his housemaid enter the room and pause before the open safe, he couldn't have imagined how the next few minutes would unravel him, breaking open a heart he didn't know still existed. If you believe in second chances, in the quiet power of kindness and in the strength of integrity when no one's watching, pause for a moment. Like this video, subscribe to Kindness Corner and share this story. Let the world remember that character still matters. Her name was Camilla, 32, slender, reserved eyes, deep brown, the kind that carried untold stories. She had been working in the Ashworth estate for just over 7 months, a widow with 2 young daughters and a mother fighting cancer. Camilla was the kind of woman who moved silently through pain. Every morning, she arrived before sunrise, tying her dark hair into a bun, slipping into her plain uniform and beginning her work without complaint. To most, she was invisible, a shadow behind silver trays and polished marble. But to Alexander Ashworth, a man who had inherited wealth but never found peace, Camilla was a mystery that haunted him. He had built his empire brick by brick, guarded it with steel, and surrounded himself with suspicion. People had stolen from him, betrayed him, used him, an ex-wife who took half his fortune, employees who siphoned funds, friends who turned opportunists, and so he built walls, thick ones around his vault, thicker ones around his heart. When Camilla arrived, something about her unsettled him. She didn't flatter. She didn't pry. She did her job and disappeared. Every background check came back spotless, painfully clean, and that more than anything made him suspicious. Her honesty felt almost threatening, too pure to be real. So he devised a test. One Wednesday morning, just before Camilla was due to dust the study, Alexander instructed his staff to leave the safe wide open. He ordered the security cameras in the hallway disabled. No one would know this moment happened, except him. He wanted to see who she truly was when faced with unimaginable temptation. Would she falter? Would she take? Or was she really as unshakable as she seemed? At exactly 8:42 a.m., Camilla entered the study. She didn't notice the safe at first, not until the sunlight bounced off its steel door, flashing across the polished floor. She froze. The duster stilled in her hand. Her eyes darted to the open vault, then to the hallway. Silence. No one there. For a long moment, she simply stood, breath shallow, uncertain whether to believe what she was seeing. From the shadows, Alexander watched, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. Camilla took a hesitant step forward. Her gloved fingers hovered above the stacks of money, and then she reached for something else, a cleaning rag tucked into her apron. She began to dust the safe's edge, gentle, precise, careful not to shift even a single bundle inside. She didn't count the cash. She didn't look around. She simply cleaned the same way she cleaned every surface in that mansion. Then, unexpectedly, she paused. Camilla reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn photograph, folded, creased, fragile with age. She glanced toward the hall again, confirming she was alone, and placed the photo gently beside the cash. In the picture were 2 little girls, perhaps 7 and 5, smiling in front of a hospital bed where an older woman lay weak but smiling back. Camilla whispered something, too soft for even Alexander to hear. Then she picked up the photo, kissed it, and tucked it safely back into her pocket. She closed the safe door. Alexander stepped deeper into the shadows, eyes wide. He wasn't sure what he'd expected. Maybe a quick hand, a stolen bill, a flicker of greed. But what he saw instead was reverence, love, and pain held together by restraint. He turned away before she could see the tears gathering in his eyes. That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. He replayed every second, the open safe, the photo, the quiet kiss. The weight of it all pressed on his chest like truth itself. It was no longer about the test. It was about her. About the goodness he'd stopped believing existed. He realized how long he had been judging everyone through the lens of betrayal, and how that lens had nearly blinded him to the rare light standing quietly under his own roof. The next morning, Camilla arrived to find a letter waiting for her on the kitchen counter. The handwriting was neat, deliberate. Alexander Ashworth. Inside, a note. Integrity is priceless. But so is peace. You've given me both. Your daughters and your mother deserve a life without fear. Please accept the enclosed without guilt. It's not a reward, it's a thank you. Attached was a blank check, signed and ready. Camilla sank into a chair, trembling. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she pressed the letter to her chest. The weight she'd carried for years, her mother's treatment, her daughter's school fees, the looming threat of eviction, suddenly felt lighter. Not because she begged, not because she stole, but because she did the right thing when no one was watching. That weekend, Alexander visited her home, not as an employer, but as a friend. He sat at her small kitchen table, played with her daughters, and brought a folder of documents to help her purchase a new home in a safer neighborhood. He offered her a new position, head of domestic operations, full benefits and flexible hours so she could care for her family. But more than that, he offered something far rarer than money. He offered trust. Sometimes the truest tests aren't passed with applause, but with quiet, unseen choices. And sometimes the richest people aren't the ones with the fullest safes, but those who choose truth, even when no one's watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. We share true emotional stories that reveal the quiet power of humanity. Drop a comment below if you believe that even one act of integrity can change everything. And before you go, tell us, what would you do if no one was watching?